what our brain perceives as important in this day and age is really difficult because we live at a time that's strange. And I've addressed this before. There's a lot of passive aggressiveness. There's hostile work environments. There's people always displeased with us, no matter what we do, no matter how great we perform. And then there's the stuff that I talk about that's camouflaged, like misogynistic behavior and thought processes and sexism, because people can't come straight out who have that belief system and say exactly what they think. And so whatever it is that they're not allowed to say out loud because they're afraid they're going to get canceled, but they're still mad and they still think it. So now we're dealing with camouflaged negative behavior, and our brain cannot tell the difference. And it doesn't understand the difference between what is safe and what is dangerous. When something bizarre happens out of left field, that surprises us. Again, that really crucial key factor is a surprise element, because that's what causes this moment of disorientation. When, for example, you're blindsided by your boss, you were expecting neurologically. Now, we're not doing this stuff consciously. This is all happening in nanoseconds between the firings of these synaptic neurons, and we don't know what's happening. But your brain was expecting this huge blast of dopamine. It expected it. It predicted it like the best stockbroker predicting a really great day. Our brains, when they're caught off guard, they seek to understand. Our brains evaluate what's causing this neuroexcitement. It needs to solve the problem. It needs everything to calm down so we can go back to being, safe and not dead and not exerting energy. So it really doesn't appreciate that. Let's solve the problem. This is why teenagers in horror movies always walk into the chainsaw shed rather than run away, because some neuroscientists wrote this that knew, our brain is going to hear those clanking chainsaws, and now we're scared and it's dark and we got to go find out what it is, or go down, the basement stairs that are pitch black. It doesn't make any sense. This is what's happening. And scientists are saying that there's a similar excitement in our brains, even if we begin to seek negative experiences, because the excitement, because of the neuroactivity. And scientists, they're still not quite sure what our brains use as criteria to identify what a reward is. The seeking hormone potentially could begin to seek out the negative events that have excited the neurons, that have caused this significant activity that is very similar to when we are anticipating a big reward. When you're blindsided by your boss and you were expecting, your brain was expecting this huge blast of dopamine, and then you don't get that reward because of this lack of predictability, and it creates this neuro excitement it wasn't expecting. Suddenly, your brain has to go into the chainsaw shed and investigate the noise to solve the problem, to fix the issue. Otherwise, we don't feel safe. We have to go and please the person that is withholding that anticipated reward, because that's the fastest way to feel better, is to get this person's approval. It's not you. It's not that there's something the matter. It's not that you can't get it right. It's not that you're defective. It's that your brain doesn't appreciate being blindsided. Your brain is like this accountant that does not want you to touch his pencils. Like everything's in its place. Everything that's supposed to happen happens. And when anything goes awry, it just messes up the whole system. And your brain has no idea what's going on. And it has to reset. So in the moment of disorientation, we have to get our feet back on the ground. The fastest way to do that is to find a way to feel safe. Well, the person withholding the affirmation, the approval, the yes, you get to stay in the tribe one more day because I'm in charge and I decide who stays and goes and who is going to be saber-toothed tiger fodder. You get another day. And when you don't, or your brain feels like you do not feel safe. And that has to be rectified instantly. It's not that you're a people pleaser. Now, there are some that are more than others. Sure. That's just part of our genetics and our DNA and the way we were raised and our story and our experiences. Like there's all these things that make us very different from one another. However, there's nothing wrong with you. This is your brain and how it works. The anticipated reward is withheld. Your neurons are excited and they are coding at this peak response. And it's the same response that they've detected when they've gotten a big reward. It's this really big energy and activity. And that turns on the alert system and says, oh, we got to pay attention. That's how it determines what's important. And when it determines something that's important, it has to seek, it has to evaluate, it has to investigate, it has to solve the problem or the task, it has to please whomever is not pleased with us. That's all it is. Once I figured this out, I was like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? There's no way. Come on. Really? But it's absolutely true. It's absolutely based in science.